I drove the car along the familiar route, counting the intersections to the house. A notification flashed on my phone screen with the address where we were going, and I knew we shouldn't be going there. Turn the car around. Now, my husband said, and I just turned the wheel. I live in the suburbs. Quiet street, identical lawns, HOA newsletter in the mailbox. The morning started out normal. I put a reusable Starbucks cup in the car, closed the garage with my key fob, drove out. At a stoplight, I glanced at the Chase app habit. There was a bill pay hanging there for repairs to my brother's cafe equipment. From my account, without my approval. The minute an email from Wells Fargo arrived. Your request for a line of credit has been received. I hadn't made the request. The screen flashed again. A post on the family Facebook. Expanding the cafe. Thank you, Alice, for your support. A photo of scissors and ribbon. I hit the brake a little harder. No drama. Just the numbers don't add up. I took my mom her meds copay I'd already paid for last week. Prescription picked up at the pharmacist on the way. Mom met me at the door. You realize this is for all of us. Do the right thing, she said, and held out a sheet labeled Durable PO. At the bottom was my last name. The signature is as if it were mine, but the hinge at the letter A isn't mine. Who prepared this? I asked. Jaeger set it up. Don't make a scene. Dad does not need the stress. Softly but with pressure. I put the sheet on the table, next to her Verizon phone, where stickers from the family chat popped up. We're family. One signature, that is all. I took the sheet and walked away. A neighbor waved me out of the driveway. UPS brought in another Amazon box and hit a bush with it. The cafe was noisy. My brother was smiling a little too broadly. It's a formality. We'll get the equipment faster, start a franchise. You don't even have to drive anywhere. We've got a notary in the strip mall. 15 minutes. Bail? I asked. Well, standard measures. The bank likes property on the line. You're reliable. Always have been. The barista added. Without you we are nothing, and immediately, just sign. Lunch rush ahead. I didn't promise anything. I went to the accounting office. In the mailbox, Zell's confirmation, translation to equipment vendor. Description. As discussed. It wasn't discussed with me. I printed out the statement and put it in my bag. My husband and I drove to the notary. In silence. I held the steering wheel. He flipped through my phone, scrolling through notifications. A new one popped up. Wells Fargo, lien on property draft. The address was our house. Turn the car around. Now, he said calmly, his voice lower than usual. I turned around in my legal spot and drove to the Chase branch. No discussion. At the bank I picked up a ticket, sat down. Nearby there was an argument about deductible. I told the employee, cancel all auto payments on the cafeteria. Disable Zelle on all my accounts. Put a limit on bill pay. Remove my mom from authorized users on my card. She looked at the notifications on my phone, asked for my passport. I signed the forms. Also freeze credit, I said. Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. We did a freeze. I turned on alerts for any credit checks. I put two-factor authentication on everything I could. I heard the AT&T family plan vibrating in my pocket. My brother added another line for business. I canceled the connection in the app while sitting at the counter. 2 minutes and the line is removed. Dry. Right. I went to Bank of America. That's where the family's old savings account is kept. Closed the accesses, removed the general rainy day sub-account where I'd been funding the balance for years, just in case. Grounds? The employee asked. I'm no longer a member, I replied. Afterward, to notary services. I filed an application to revoke any powers of attorney executed ostensibly on my behalf, except for a narrow medical form for my mom. I picked up the stamped copies, paid cash, put the checks in a folder. The phone wouldn't stop ringing. Mom was calling. Why are you making this so difficult? You know Mom's heart. Sign it and forget it. It's for a week. No, I said. My brother wrote messages in blocks. Without your signature, we'll be shut down. Don't be selfish. We've already planned everything. Don't embarrass us in the eyes of the bank. I responded once. Banks are not family. Paperwork is no joke. At home I printed out the statements. Zelle, bill pay, Venmo transfers for change. I put them in files: cafe expenses, mom purchases, general without agreement. Separately, I put payments for Verizon and AT&T, which were hanging on my autopay through the family plan, as long as it's convenient. I turned on Chase's travel notice for 0 days to cut off any attempts to check my limit. I added a filter to my mail, everything with the subject line urgent signature, to a separate folder. No deleting. Document. In the evening, my husband and I stopped by the notary's office briefly, not for the paperwork, but to pick up the pre-printed forms. In the parking lot, we met a cousin. Alice, do the right thing. You understand. We're family. You sign it, that's it. You don't want mom to worry. I've already seen the draft mortgage on the house, I said. No more explanations needed. You're being dramatic. It is just paperwork. For you, yes. For me, responsibility. I got in the car. I closed the door. No anger. Just closed it. At night, I put everything in writing. I sent a statement to the bank about the disputed transactions. I set a reminder to check my credit reports. Removed my mom from my Amazon account and closed the shared shopping list. Changed my password to Nest and garage door opener family code disabled. This is not war. This is order. In the morning, a photo arrived in HOA chat. My family on the doorstep of the cafe, ribbon, balloons. The caption: Big team, big dream. I wasn't there. A neighbor waved at me again from the driveway. I waved back and drove to the IRS to file a notice of change of reporting person for the cafe. Fact. Pause. Next fact. What happened next changed everything. Subscribe and stay, you won't want to miss how it unfolded. The morning started with a little thing. The HOA sent a letter, signed the updated parking regulations. A neighbor waved at me from the driveway. UPS delivered someone else's Amazon box to my doorstep. I took down the notifications. New bill pay at Chase's equipment vendor again. I'd already turned it off yesterday, so someone tried the old pattern. It didn't work. I timed it, saved the screenshot, added it to my trying folder. My mom called from her home phone. Alice, be reasonable. We're family. Just come to the cafe at noon. Quick talk. Don't make a scene. You know mom's heart. I'll be there. 15 minutes, I said. I grabbed my file folder, my phone charger, and my reusable Starbucks cup. I marked myself. After Verizon, then Experian report. Everyone in the cafe was already seated. Mom, a brother, a cousin who is a counselor, a barista with a notebook. On the table, a stack of papers. Settlement agreement, updated PO, consent to lien. I sit down. It's just paper. Do the right thing, my brother began. The bank likes order. We do things in a civilized manner. Nobody's against you. Show me the section about collateral, I said. It's standard there. I read the clause. House is collateral. Cross default with any late deliveries. The signatures were my photocopies glued like pictures. I turned the sheet toward them. This one is a no. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Dad does not need the stress. Mom spoke softly but pressed every word. Sign it and forget it. 1 week and we'll pay it all off. Family help is about getting people out of the airport. Not when you put lien on a house, I said. I'll finish my coffee and leave. They started talking at the same time. We're a team. You've always been reliable. No one asks you for money, just a signature. You're overreacting. I listened to the rhythm, not the words. When it was quiet, I put my folder on the table. Here are the Zelle and Venmo printouts. Here is the bill pay that was processed without approval. Here's the Wells Fargo notice of attempted bail. Here's my freeze, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion. Any checks, they come to me immediately. We're family. Don't take this to the banks. My brother tried to smile. The banks are already here, I said. And so is the notary. We moved on to a peaceful resolution. I suggested one action. Remove my name from everything I don't manage. Then the cafe will die. The brother raised his voice. You're abandoning us. At the very moment we need a spurt. You know how to brew coffee, I said. Papers you don't. And it's not my profession to be your loan shark. Don't dramatize it. It is just paperwork. Paperwork is what money is. After the meeting, I stopped by Verizon. Take out all the extra lines. Shut down the family plan. I want a new PIN and a portability ban, I told the employee. He nodded, made the paperwork. I signed it. I went out and noted, "No more, we added a line for business, we'll pay you later." Next up, Experian. I ordered a full report. Saw hard inquiry from Wells Fargo and traces of pre-checks from 2 leases. Opened a dispute. Added the comment, "Unauthorized application. Forged POA suspected." Put notifications on email and SMS. Noted that Equifax and TransUnion follow up once a week. The rhythm is simple. Fact fixation action. Bank of America at lunchtime. I closed the general rainy day subaccount finally and transferred the balance to my savings. The transfer wasn't to the cafeteria. To an emergency-only account. Grounds? Revocation of voluntary participation. I said. Who's gonna pay the rent? My brother called right away. He was clearly standing around the corner. The one who rents. Just like in adult life, I said. At home I found an urgent in the mail. From the coffee supplier. Please confirm Alice remains personal guarantor, or move to prepay. I replied with one line. I am not a guarantor. Move to prepay. New contact Igor. I copied my brother and my mom into the letter. No explanation. Just the fact. In the evening they came to my house. A brother, a cousin and a barista. Sign it now. Don't make it complicated. Don't make a scene in front of neighbors. He held up a folder and looked over me. You're standing on my doorstep demanding a signature on a lien. This is the scene, I said. My husband stood next to me. Levelly. You have no right to put us in jeopardy, my brother said. I only took down what you put on me, I replied. They are different actions. The next day I showed up at the cafe during rush hour. No hiding. I walked to the back office. Removed the flash drive with the scans, pulled out a paper payroll folder, handed the receptionist a list of steps. How to pay bills without me. I changed my password to the accounting department, removed the 2-factor from my number, put a new contact, Igor. You can't leave in the middle of the season like that, the barista said. I can. And I am, I said. Here's a checklist. I went to the landlord's office above the cafe. Here's the letter. I am not the liaison. Any questions are for Igor. Signed dated. I said. Are you sure? Yes. Then the DMV. There was a window in the schedule. I took the ticket, waited in line. I took off my company van, I told the employee. I'm not the driver. I'm not the owner. I'm not the insurer. I need a paper signed by the second owner. The second owner is my brother. Here's the notice. Here's my release of liability. We executed a release of liability. I kept a copy. I sent it to the insurance company. Right after that, the clinic. I asked for a printout. My mom's account had copay and deductible balances on me. As long as it was convenient. I asked for separate profiles. I put my mom's card as my primary card. She took mine off. Mom will be upset, the receptionist said. Mom will be fine, I said. In the evening, a family council at the cafe, already official. They brought cookies, poured filter coffee. I put 2 envelopes on the table. The first one contained my revoked powers of attorney. In the second, my waiver of personal guarantees. In there, notices to banks and suppliers. Why are you doing this so coldly? Mom cried but followed every word. You're turning into a stranger. We only asked for help. You asked for a house for your business, I said. This isn't help. This is a resource grab. You're making us look like monsters. I'm not making anything up. I'm fixing. The brother tried to press the last argument. If it's that complicated, just give us the accesses. We'll sign for you ourselves. You trust the family. I looked at him and smiled briefly. I've already disabled all the accesses, I said. And I don't trust anymore. He slapped his palm on the table. The cookies bounced. You've ruined the family. A family doesn't hang on someone's credit limit, I said. I put my bunch of back office keys on the table, pulled a card in the name bookkeeper out of my wallet, and left it next to me. Not the effect. Inventory. As of today, I am out of your finances and your signatures, I said. Any questions are in writing. To email. The silence was dense. No one apologized. Not once. I stood up, picked up the empty folder, opened the door. This is the climax. Everything you've been waiting for is right here. Subscribe now to see the hero put everyone in their place. 3 letters came this morning. From Wells Fargo, pledge rejected. From the supplier, prepayment only, contact Igor. From the insurance company, release of liability on their van. I timestamped it, filed it away. I made coffee. The silence in the house was normal, not disturbing. I started simple. I deleted the family chat room. I left one emergency-only contact. I checked Verizon. No number portability, PIN updated. AT&T removed my card from autopay on my mom's account. At Chase, I turned on extra verification on login and blocked any external bill pay templates. At Bank of America, I closed the last general safekeeping. Changed the account name emergency only to Alice only. It sounded honest. In the mail was an envelope from the notary. Copies of my disclaimers and revocations of powers of attorney. I scanned, put them in a separate folder in the cloud, gave my husband access. The USPS issued a change of address for all cafe correspondence to their address, not mine. I opened a safe deposit box for myself at the UPS store. Put the key in the binder where the key to their back office used to be. The locations were switched. My mom called from the landline. Alice, be human. Do the right thing. At least sign the temporary paperwork. You know Mom's heart. I already canceled it, I said. The medical power of attorney stays for you. The business doesn't. You're abandoning the family. I'm stopping subsidizing the cafe. Those are different things. She was silent longer than usual. Hung up without a bye. At lunchtime, I walked into the cafe for the last time. Without pathos. Walked to the back office. Took my old calculator, a flash drive, 2 folders with my documents off the shelf. Placed an envelope on the desk. Vendor list, prepayment instructions, leasing contacts, my official waiver. On top, my keys and bookkeeper card. Are you really leaving? The barista held the check stub like a bandage. Yes. Today. It'll all fall apart without you. Maybe. It's not my job to keep it on my personal credit card. On the way out, my brother stopped me. Last chance. Sign it and we'll work it out. Dad does not need the stress. Don't make a scene. I'm not making a scene, I said. I'm getting my stuff. You'll be sorry. No. He waited for an explanation. There wasn't. I just walked on by. Next, the mechanics. I uploaded the hard inquiry dispute to Experian. Attached copies of the notarized letters. In Equifax and TransUnion, I flagged alerts for any changes. In Kaiser, I separated the profiles. My mom's copay to her card, my accounts separately. In Amazon, removed shared shopping list and family access. At Nest, removed family code. Added a one-time code for my neighbor if I need to water my plants. Order instead of talking. In the evening, the landlord sent an email. Confirm that you are no longer the contact person. I replied in one line and attached a scan. The coffee supplier sent a new invoice for prepayment, in my brother's name. I forwarded it without comment. An automated report from Chase came in. Another bill pay. Attempt using the old template rejected. I added a screenshot to the attempts folder. The black humor is that family assistance means interest-free lending and free accounting in their dictionary. I stopped speaking that language. 2 days later, I got a call from the rental company. Alice, payroll is late. Are you still? No. I'm out of business. The new contact is Igor. That's a shame. You were understandable. Yes. I've got an offer at a small private school. Small salary, clear responsibilities. 2 young accountants who need to explain the basics. Accounts payable, reconciliations, boundaries. I brought them a 1-page checklist. He who pays decides. Whoever doesn't pay waits. They nodded. It was easier than explaining a trivial thing to my family. A house is not a mortgage on a cappuccino. On Saturday, I updated the title notices on the house. Turned on title lock with alerts. Checked insurance. Addresses, beneficiaries, limits. Removed my mom as an authorized user everywhere else. I wrote myself a list on the fridge. Weekly credit reports. Monthly autopay checks. No exceptions. It's not defense. It's hygiene. The family sent a long letter. Lots of words. We're disappointed. You've put us in a terrible position. If you love me, sign it. I responded with one line. Any questions in writing via email? Just the facts. They sent another wall of text. I didn't respond. I put a filter on the mail. Everything from them goes in the archive folder. No deleting. Let there be a story. In the afternoon, my husband and I went grocery shopping. He loaded the bags in the trunk, closed the garage. A neighbor waved us out of the driveway. The car was quiet. Then you said to turn around, I said. You turned around, he replied. We drove on. No conversation. On Monday, I turned off my work phone for an hour. Nothing happened. The coffee at the cafe was said to be slower. Vendors are demanding payment in advance. The receptionist asks for an official schedule. A sheet appeared on the door asking for patience. People cope when they pay for their decisions themselves. It's not anger. It's physics. I deleted the last shared calendar, closed the notebook with their accounting and put it on the top shelf. I moved the cafe as my role file to complete it. No fanfare. No speeches. I simply stepped out of a game I'm no longer a part of.